What is up, guys? Welcome to my channel. Man, it was a packed weekend of combat sports. One of the worst in history, in my opinion, compared to what all the hype and what it was going to be. I mean, Canelo versus Skull, we knew it was going to be a load of bullshit. It was basically a complete big waste of everyone's time. Canelo literally just picking up like 50, $60 million to do absolutely F all. Canelo's washed. Canelo's done. I mean, the old Canelo would have just cut the ring off, cut that guy, cornered him, and just smashed him to the body, smashed him to the arms. He would have just smashed him into next week. He would have just beat the brakes off him. But I think Canelo's legs are gone, his desire's gone. You know, he's been on a victory lap now for about 2 years. So that was just pathetic. And man, boxers getting so overpaid. They are pulling turkeys, or lifting his dress up, you should say. Lifting turkey's dress up and bending him over and spanking him for his checkbook. That was absolutely pathetic. On the Friday night before, I thought, whoa, I was really excited for Fatal Fury, City of the Wolves. I thought it was City of Wolves, but it's City of the Wolves. Maybe it's the language barrier. I doubt it, but it doesn't sound right in English. City of the Wolves. But anyway, man, Tiafimo looked good, and that was the only guy who I thought was actually a decent challenger. Well, I thought Ramirez might be. Barboza, I saw him fight Jack Catterall. He's a decent fighter, and Tio dealt with him. Devin Haney had PTSD, shits his pants on a regular basis anyway. But I'm sure he was wearing Pampers rather than a groin guard in that ring, because I think the diarrhea was just flooding out of his ass. The kid's an absolute bitch, pussy. I don't care if he's a boxer or not. He's not a hard man. He's an absolute sap. People like that, we want him out the sport. He's no good. He robbed Lomachenko, nicked a win off him. Not that it's his fault, it's the judges. Yeah, man, he was never the true undisputed lightweight guy. He was an email champion. He never fought Tio. I think Tio would whoop him. Man, he's shot to pieces. Juice Boy off the Juice Garcia, Juicy Garcia, Cherry Juice Garcia, Cherry Garcia. Fair plays to Rowley. I was actually going to put some money on Rowley because I thought, you know what? He got power. You never know. But the boxing odds are so crap. Even like they've learned their lesson. I think like Rowley, like just for a straight win, just any way, win anyway. The odds were crap. Do you know what I mean? The last time I went to put a bet on just for a straight win was Andy Ruiz. Joshua won, and I was drunk and I forgot to, so I missed out on £20, 25 to win, 500 quid plus my score back, and I was going to do it for my mates. So that's £1,000 on the drain. Never get over that. Anyway, we're here to talk about the UFC, which is also pretty boring on the scale of things. Wasn't too exciting. I mean, the Mason Jones Jeremy Stevens fight was epic. For a local boy, I only live about, what was it, 50 miles, something like that, 70 miles. I live an hour, not up the road he is, Mason Jones, from me. So it's nice to see him win. I'm not going to lie, I wanted to see old man Stevens get a win because Jones can always come back. He's a good fighter. Jones looked really good, technical and skilled. I mean, that spinning head kick was nice. I think Jones is just too willing to take a shot, and that'll catch up with him. I think Jones is just a tough son of a gun. I think he needs to be a bit more technical, a bit more defensive, and he can have a good career. But moving up the ranks, fighting some big hitters, in the lightweight division, he doesn't want to be fighting that way, just willing to take one to give one. Anyway, what we're here to talk about is Bo Nickal versus Reinier de Ridder. I'm very happy about this fight because I made a good bit of money out of it. I also put another bet on to hedge it with Figgy to win as well. Bo Nickal to lose, Adia to win and Figgy to win. And man, that was frustrating to watch. Figgy, I think he had an injury or something going into that fight because those odds were ridiculous. I mean, the way the fight played out, it sort of made sense. But I don't think that was the real Figgy after round one, and he just pissed round one down the drain. And then he went back to his corner. I was screaming at the TV. He was like a broken man. It was like one round. He was a former champion, acting like an absolute bitch he was. But anyway, this video is about Bo Nickal. I'm ranting too long about the other fights. When I saw the odds, I was like, I'm sticking at least 50 quid on a straight win for Adia. I thought he's way bigger. He has literally 21 fights. Bo has 7. He has literally 3 times the experience. The only guy he's lost to was Anatoly Malakin. God, it's hard to say. Anatoly Malakin is the only guy to beat him. The only guy. And yeah, the guy lost to Rug, but that might have been a bad night. Anatoly Malakin's a really good fighter and a big fighter. But Reinier de Ridder, you saw him next to Bisping, who was like a good 6'2", 6'3" in his shoes, maybe 6'3.5" in his shoes. The man is huge. I don't know how he's fighting a middleweight, and I don't know. He's huge. They say Pereira's huge. Pereira's got twiggy little legs, and Pereira's, he's slim. He's a slim built guy. Reinier de Ridder, he got some big chest, some big wide body. He's a unit, like he's literally a unit. But I looked at those odds, and I was like, what the hell's going on here? Like, well, why are they put these odds? Bo Nickal's fought no one. He fought Jamie Pickett. Shit. He's shit, Jamie Pickett. Let's be real. Jamie Pickett's shit. He fought Val Woodburn. He's probably even worse than Jamie Pickett. Then he fought Cody Brundage. And he got exposed in that fight. And Cody Brundage almost got his ass knocked out by like a guy who's been knocked out 4 of his last 5 or something like that. Because I did a video the other week in Julian Marquez, the Cuban Missile Crisis. He literally was fighting for the BUM title, the Bum of the Month title. Yeah, forget BMF title. They were fighting for the BUM title in the co-main event. Pathetic that was. And he exposed his ass. He got choked in the end, but Bo Nickal didn't look good in any of those fights that were after the Val Woodburn one. And the Paul Craig fight, I think he got exposed even more. He looked worse. And a lot of people are saying, oh yeah, he just wanted to get the rounds in. No, he didn't. He wanted to finish that fight, but he couldn't do it on the feet against... Paul Craig, I like Paul Craig. He's a cool dude, nice dude. I've seen lots of interviews. I like him. I'm a fan of his. You can pull it out from anywhere. But for someone who's been in the UFC that long, his striking is abysmal. It's abysmal. He must just be one of them people who just cannot strike and they're not going to pick it up. He could have boxed since he was 6 years old and he'd still be crap. Because, he'd been in the UFC long enough. He doesn't really need to work on his jiu-jitsu and he damn sure hasn't been working on his wrestling with all his guard pulling. So, I don't know what to tell you. But I was looking at this fight thinking, Reinier de Ridder, he's fought... Vitaly Bigdash beat him. He's a good fighter. Olang Sang, people don't know who he is. He trains with like Anti Rumble and all them guys out in Killcliff or what it used to be called. I used to always call it the old thing, but yeah, Killcliff is in my head now. Killcliff. He trains there. Olang Sang. He's beaten him. He's a really good fighter. He looked shocking in his first UFC fight. I'm not going to lie. It looked like he was underwater, slow. He didn't look up to much. And then obviously in the Kevin Holland fight, we didn't get to see much stand-up. So I can understand why people thought, maybe Bo will keep it on the feet and maybe keep hitting him. But Bo hasn't showed us anything. If he's not doing that to Paul Craig, what made you think he was going to do it to Adia? Adia is much fresher than Paul Craig. And his losses, the only two to the same man, are very, very forgivable losses. Adia is an absolute beast on the ground. And I'm not complaining. I made some money on this, and I rarely bet on MMA. And when I do, I rarely win. I'm not going to lie. I'm terrible betting on MMA. But when I looked at these odds, I was like, what are these odds makers smoking? It almost reminds me of UFC 10, 15 years ago, where someone would come in out of another organization who you knew was hot shit, and they'd be a massive underdog against an average run-of-the-mill guy. Like, it'd be crazy. You could make some good money back then. They've tightened them up way, about 5-10 years ago. They've tightened it right up. But it used to be some wild odds back in the day. But the fact that they had those odds makes absolutely no sense to me. And I'm glad to see him lose, not just for the money. I don't like Bo Nickal. Maybe he's a nice guy, but he just takes me as one of those, like, Biff off Back to the Future, college wrestler, bully boy. I was loving watching him get his ass whipped because the guy can't fight for shit. He's 30 years old. He ain't ever going to be nothing in MMA. I'm sorry, but he's 30 years old. He ain't going nowhere. He's going nowhere. And he's probably, mind you, he's probably not on a big contract because they got him for the Contender Series. Very, very smart, Dana. They're doing that. By getting people for the Contender Series, they are making a fortune. Hence that kickboxer didn't want to... Artem Vakatov, the guy who beat Pereira, or lost to Pereira, but then beat him in the rematch, didn't want to sign. So like, you've been on a Contender as part of our rules. You have to fight. So no, some people aren't going to want to go into the Contender. Imagine if they told Aaron Pico, you got to go in the Contender, mate. And then you're going to have your first 3 fights, 12 and 12. So your first 18 months in the UFC, first year in the UFC, you're going to make about, less than minimum wage in America or some bullshit. But it was nice to see. I think it was just crazy odds. I don't know what was going on. I have no idea what was going on with those odds. They made absolutely no sense. I just wish I'd put my whole bank account on it. But a part of me thinks if I'd have done that, I'd have made a ton of money. But then I'd be doing it next week thinking I know, and then I'd lose it all. Do you know what I mean? But man, it would have been sweet to put a big, to put a big amount on Adia to win this weekend. But yeah, that's about it for this video. I just wanted to say, Bo Nickal, he's been humbled. He's got that ass whooped. He ain't going nowhere in MMA at this age. It's way too late. You can't come in and think, oh, da 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 da. He's not even that good. His wrestling doesn't even translate to MMA that well. His MMA wrestling is shocking. GSP, like a young GSP, would ragdoll him. If GSP made weight to fight at 170 and Bo Nickal made weight to fight at 180, GSP would ragdoll him. He'd throw him over the fence into the crowd, snap his head off for him. So the guy, I don't believe, is going anywhere. Way overhyped for no reason as well. I never thought he was any good, to be quite honest. Never thought he was anything special. And tonight proved it. Not that Adiar's not a good fighter. Adiar is a good fighter, and he did look a lot better. I want to say again, he did look a lot better than his debut. I think that UFC jitters is a real thing because he looked bad on the feet in his debut. I was like, man, this guy's not gonna do well in a UFC on the feet. He's gonna get hurt. But you know, his little knees and his snap kicks as well. Those little snap kicks of the body were nice. And Bo, in my mind, he started quitting. I mean, maybe he didn't have an answer to defend him, so I'm not him and I'm not taking the shots, whatever. But it felt like half a quit, half a TKO, in my opinion. That's just my opinion. So yeah, man, Bo Nickal gets his ass whooped. I don't think he's going anywhere in MMA. Let me know what you guys think. Give me a like, give me a comment, give me a subscribe, and I'll catch you guys in the next video. Peace.